The twin suns of Zelaria hung low in the sky, casting long shadows across the gleaming towers of the city. The arena, a vast structure of shimmering metal and crystal, stood at its center. For the citizens of Zelaria, it was more than a place of sport. It was the heart of their culture, a stage where skill, strategy, and courage were displayed. And today it was the day Kayla would face her first public test. Kayla, a Xylaran, stretched her long, graceful limbs in the quiet of her quarters. Her violet skin shimmered faintly in the early light, and her eyes, bright, sharp, and full of thought, betrayed the storm of emotions inside her. She was a gladiator, but unlike others, she had never enjoyed the thrill of battle. Fighting humans she refused to even consider. The very idea felt wrong. She turned her gaze toward the small holoprojector on her table, which flickered to life. With a soft hum, Eli's face appeared, smiling warmly. "Kayla," he said, his voice gentle, "you don't have to do this today if you don't want to. They can't force you to fight." Kayla smiled, but it was tinged with worry. "I know, Eli. But if I refuse, the arena officials won't let me go easily. I don't want trouble nor for anyone to think I am weak." Eli reached out, though the hologram could not touch her. "You're not weak. You're brave. You make your own rules, Kayla. That's what I love about you." Her heart warmed at his words, and she whispered softly, "I just hope I can prove it today." The arena corridors were bustling when Kayla arrived. Other gladiators prepared for the competitions ahead, moving with practiced grace. The air was filled with the hum of energy shields, the clatter of equipment, and the distant cheers of early spectators. Yet Kayla felt a strange calmness. She did not want to fight today or ever, but she could not deny the weight of her choices. The arena official, a tall Xylaran with golden markings across his shoulders, approached. "Kayla," he said, his voice formal, "your presence is requested in the central stage. The council wishes to see your commitment. Will you fight as ordered?" Kayla straightened, meeting his gaze. "I will not fight humans," she said, simply. A murmur ran through the crowd nearby. Some stared in disbelief, others in admiration. The official's eyes narrowed. "This is not a request, Kayla. You must follow the council's rules." "I will follow my own rules," she replied calmly. "I do not fight humans. Never have. Never will." The official's expression hardened. He left without another word, and Kayla stepped into the arena. The sun glinted off the transparent barrier that separated the spectators from the stage. Thousands of eyes watched her, curious, skeptical, and amazed. Kayla walked to the center of the arena, her head held high. The stage beneath her feet was smooth, almost like liquid crystal, shifting slightly as if alive. She paused, letting her gaze sweep across the crowd. She saw faces of every kind, Xylarans, humans, and other species, each waiting to see what she would do. A voice boomed from the arena speakers. "Kayla, champion of Xylaria, today you face the trial of choice. Will you fight, or will you defy the council?" Kayla's heart beat faster, but she forced herself to remain calm. She remembered Eli's words, his faith in her. Taking a deep breath, she spoke clearly so everyone could hear. "I will not fight humans. I refuse to harm them. I will not betray what I believe is right." The arena fell silent for a moment. Then slowly a ripple of applause began, growing louder and louder. Some cheered her courage. Some shook their heads in disbelief, but Kayla did not falter. In the crowd, Eli's holographic assistant whispered a message to him. His face tightened as he read it. Something about the council's next move. A warning that Kayla had to hear. He tried to reach her, but the barrier made it impossible. All he could do was watch and hope. Kayla took a slow step forward, considering her options. She was a gladiator trained for physical contests, but she had always relied on strategy, speed, and intelligence rather than force. Today, she would need every bit of it. The arena changed around her. Platforms rose from the ground, creating obstacles and pathways. Lights danced across the walls and holographic targets floated in midair. The test was clear. It was not a simple fight. The council wanted to see how she would respond to a challenge designed to force her into conflict. Kayla's violet eyes scanned the arena. She noticed patterns in the movements of the platforms, the timing of the holograms. A plan began to form. She did not have to fight humans to succeed. She only needed to demonstrate her skill, her mind, and her courage. As she took a deep breath, Kayla felt a presence behind her. It was not threatening, but familiar and comforting. Eli had somehow projected a small holographic message directly to her visor. "Trust yourself, Kayla. You are stronger than they realize." She nodded silently, grateful. With a final glance at the crowd, she stepped forward. Her feet touched the first moving platform, and she began to navigate the arena. Each step was precise, calculated, and graceful. She leaped over gaps, dodged obstacles, and solved puzzles that the arena presented. The spectators watched in awe, realizing that Kayla's strength was not in violence, it was in thought, creativity, and courage. By the time she reached the wide center again, sweat beaded on her brow and her limbs ached. But her eyes shone with triumph. She had faced the council's test without harming a single human, and she had shown the crowd what true bravery looked like. As the sun dipped lower, casting a golden glow over the arena, Kayla stood tall. She did not yet know what challenges awaited her tomorrow, or how the council would respond, but one thing was clear. She had made her choice, and she would never regret it. And somewhere in the crowd, Eli smiled, proud of the alien who had captured not only his heart, but the hearts of everyone watching. The sun had fully set over Xylaria, leaving the city bathed in a soft violet glow. The arena, now quiet, hummed with residual energy from the day's trials. Kayla returned to her quarters, muscles tired, but her mind buzzing with thoughts. She had won the first round of the council's test, without fighting humans. But she knew the officials would not let her defiance go unchallenged. Her thoughts, however, drifted to Eli. Even though the arena had separated them physically, their bond felt stronger than ever. Kayla moved to the small window of her room, looking out over the city. From up high, the streets seemed peaceful, but she knew that beneath the calm, rules were tightening and observers watched her every move. A soft chime interrupted her thoughts. The holoprojector flickered to life, revealing Eli's smiling face. "Kayla," he said, his tone warm but carrying an edge of worry. "I've been following your moves today. I am impressed, but the council is not pleased. They'll find another way to test you." Kayla sighed, sitting on the edge of her bed. "I know, Eli. They see my refusal as a challenge, but I can't change who I am. I can't fight humans. It's wrong." "I know," Eli replied. "That's why I care for you. Your strength isn't just in your body, it's in your heart and mind. You're showing everyone that courage doesn't always mean fighting." Kayla smiled, a small blush rising on her violet cheeks. "It helps, knowing you believe in me." They sat in silence for a moment, connected through the soft glow of the hologram. Then Eli spoke again, curiosity edging his voice. "Tell me, Kayla, how did you learn this? To see patterns, to move so gracefully, to always find a way without hurting anyone?" Kayla leaned back, remembering. "It started when I was very young. I loved puzzles, challenges, anything that required thought instead of strength. My teachers told me to fight, to be like everyone else, but I always found another way. I studied humans, watched their choices and strategies, and learned to value cleverness over brute force. That's how I met you too." Eli's eyes softened. "I remember that day. You helped me out of a tricky diplomatic misunderstanding, and I thought, maybe not all Xylarans are the same. You saw me, not as a human, but as a partner." Kayla laughed softly. "And I still do. That's why I can't fight humans. I won't betray that belief or you." Their conversation was interrupted by a sharp knock on Kayla's quarters door. She stiffened. The arena officials rarely came at night unless it was serious. She approached cautiously. "Kayla," the official said, stepping into the room without waiting for an invitation. His golden markings glimmered under the violet lights. "The Council has observed your performance today. You have proven unconventional skill. But they are not satisfied. Your refusal to fight humans has raised concerns." Kyla remained calm. "I will not fight humans. You know this." The official's gaze sharpened. "Do you understand the consequences of defiance? The Council has the power to test your resolve in ways that will challenge you, emotionally, physically, and socially. They may even involve your human companion." Kayla froze. Her mind raced. "Eli, you wouldn't—" "Your choice will determine the next trial," the official said, "and the Council is very interested in the loyalty between you and your companion." He left the room as suddenly as he had arrived, leaving Kayla trembling slightly. Once alone, she sank to the floor. Her mind was a whirlpool of fear and determination. Eli was safe now, but the Council's words had planted a seed of worry. They would try to use him to force her compliance, but she refused to allow that. She had faced the arena's challenges with strategy before. She would do it again. Hours later, Kayla sat at her table, reviewing mental maps of the arena. She traced lines between platforms, obstacles, and potential traps. She envisioned ways to Navi. The arena pulsed with anticipation under the bright morning sun. Kayla stood at the entrance, her violet skin glowing softly. Today's trial was unlike any she had faced before. The Council had made it clear. This challenge would test her loyalty, courage, and ingenuity. Her mind raced as she stepped onto the smooth, crystal floor. The platform shifted beneath her feet, creating a path that seemed to change with every step. She paused for a moment, sensing that this trial was more than just a puzzle. It was personal. From the shadows at the edge of the arena, the official appeared, his golden markings shining in the light. "Kayla," he said, voice echoing, "the Council wishes to see your loyalty tested. You have refused to fight humans, but loyalty cannot be measured only in words. Your human companion will be involved in this trial." Kayla froze, her heart skipping a beat. She had expected challenges, obstacles, and tests of skill, but involving Eli directly changed everything. Her violet eyes widened as she realized what the official meant. "Eli?" she whispered, her voice trembling. "Yes," the official replied calmly. "He will enter the arena in a simulated challenge. It is safe, but the Council wishes to observe your reaction. Will you act to protect him, and how?" Kayla's mind spun, but she forced herself to take a deep breath. Fear gripped her, but she refused to let it control her. Eli had always trusted her. She would not fail him. The floor beneath her shifted suddenly, opening a pathway toward the center of the arena. There, a human-sized hologram shimmered into view. Eli's likeness appeared, bright and clear, looking directly at her. He smiled, though she could see the concern in his eyes. "Kayla," the hologram said, "I trust you. You've always found a way before. Don't let this challenge change that." Her heart warmed. Even in simulation, Eli's confidence in her was a shield against doubt. She nodded silently, determination setting in. She would find a way to succeed without harming anyone, without bending her principles. The platforms rose and fell around her, creating shifting paths. Holographic obstacles appeared, moving walls, floating spheres, and complex patterns that would test her agility and strategy. Kayla's eyes scanned the arena. She noticed subtle patterns in the movements, hints. Left for careful observation, this was her element. She had trained for years in agility, strategy, and observation. Today, it would all come together. Kayla moved carefully, her limbs flowing gracefully with every step. She leaped over moving platforms, dodged shifting walls, and calculated each, landing with precision. She did not rush. Every movement was deliberate. Every choice mattered. As she progressed, the holographic Eli moved as well, reacting to her decisions. She guided him subtly, ensuring that he stayed safe on stable platforms while navigating tricky sections. The crowd watched in amazement, realizing that Kayla was not just following a path, she was creating one, leading the simulation with intelligence and care. Midway through the arena, a new challenge appeared. A series of floating spheres hovered in a path, moving quickly. To succeed, Kayla needed to time her jumps perfectly and guide Eli across the same path. The crowd held its breath. One misstep could cause the simulation to fail. Kayla studied the spheres, noting their speed and rhythm. Then she moved, leaping from platform to platform. With each jump, she signaled subtly to Eli, guiding his holographic form safely. She held her breath, counting every movement, every beat. Finally, both she and Eli reached solid ground. The crowd erupted in cheers, impressed by her precision and care. But the council was not finished. The final section of the arena shifted dramatically, forming a maze of narrow pathways and floating barriers. Kyla could sense the challenge was designed to push her to the edge of her skills. She paused, closing her eyes for a moment. She felt Eli's presence in her mind, his trust and support giving her strength. "Kayla," she whispered, "we can do this together." She opened her eyes and began to navigate the maze. She moved with focus, anticipating the patterns of the barriers and the timing of the floating platforms. She guided the holographic Eli, ensuring that he remained safe at every step. Her mind worked like a machine, calculating movements, predicting patterns, and adjusting instantly to changes. The crowd watched in awe. This was not just a test of strength, it was a display of intelligence, strategy, and partnership. Kayla's refusal to fight humans did not make her weak. It made her stronger, more creative, and more admirable. Finally, she reached the end of the maze. A soft light glowed on the platform, signaling success. The holographic Eli smiled, safe and unharmed, and Kayla's heart swelled with relief and pride. The official reappeared at the edge of the arena. He looked at her with a mixture of surprise and respect. "Kayla," he said, "you have succeeded, not by following the council's orders blindly, but by using your own intelligence and loyalty. Your actions today, they are remarkable." Kayla nodded, her body tired but her spirit soaring. "I did what I believed was right. I guided him safely without fighting him or harming anyone. That is enough." The crowd cheered, a roar of approval echoing across the arena. Many Zelarans had never seen such a display of skill, intelligence, and heart combined. They realized that courage was not only in combat, it was in choices, loyalty, and care for others. Back in her quarters later, Kyla reviewed the day's events. She felt a deep sense of accomplishment, but she knew this was only the beginning. The council would continue to challenge her, but now she had proven not only to them but to herself that her way, her intelligence, strategy, and compassion was powerful. Eli's face appeared again on the holoprojector, smiling warmly. "Kayla, you were incredible. You faced their challenge without compromising your principles. I am proud of you." Kayla returned the smile, feeling a warmth in her chest. "We did it together, Eli, and we will continue to face whatever comes next, together." The sun dipped below the horizon, painting the arena in shades of purple and gold. Kayla knew that tomorrow would bring new trials, new challenges, but she was ready. Her loyalty, her courage, and her love were stronger than any obstacle. And, in the arena, that strength shone brighter than any light, and soft lights traced invisible paths across the floor. Kyla stood at the entrance, her violet skin catching the morning sun. Today's challenge was more than a test. It was a puzzle, a dance of strategy and intelligence that would push her mind as much as her body. Her eyes scanned the arena carefully. Unlike before, this trial seemed designed not to test physical strength alone, but to challenge her problem-solving skills. The council had clearly learned from the previous trial. They wanted to see how she would react under pressure, how she could protect Eli without ever compromising her principles. Kayla took a deep breath. She had learned long ago that rushing led to mistakes. Every step, every decision had to be deliberate. She closed her eyes for a moment, imagining the paths, the platforms, and the moving barriers. Her mind worked like a finely tuned instrument, predicting patterns, calculating possibilities, and searching for solutions. From the shadows, the official appeared, his golden markings shining. "Kayla," he said, voice echoing across the arena, "this trial will test your ability to think and adapt. Your human companion is safe, but your loyalty and intelligence are under observation. Show us your skill." Kayla nodded, acknowledging the challenge. She stepped forward, landing gracefully on the first platform. The surface shifted slightly under her weight, testing her balance, but she adjusted easily. She moved with precision, leaping to the next platform as holographic spheres floated around her, forming complex patterns that required careful timing to navigate. Eli's holographic form appeared beside her, moving in tandem with her decisions. Kayla guided him subtly, ensuring that he remained on stable platforms while avoiding the rapidly moving obstacles. Her mind raced, analyzing every angle, every movement. She could feel the council watching, and the pressure pushed her to think faster, act smarter. The first major challenge came as a series of rotating walls, each with a narrow gap just wide enough for her to pass through. Kayla studied their rhythm, timing her steps perfectly. She signaled to Eli, guiding him safely between the barriers. The crowd watched in awe. They had seen gladiators before, but none had approached a trial with such intelligence and care. Next, a grid of floating spheres appeared, moving in unpredictable patterns. Each sphere emitted a faint glow, indicating that contact would reset the simulation. Kayla's violet eyes narrowed as she mapped the paths in her mind. This was a test of observation, patience, and timing. She moved carefully, leading Eli's holographic form with her, their movements synchronized like a dance. Midway through the trial, a sudden shift in the arena's configuration created a complex maze of platforms and floating barriers. Kayla paused for a moment, calculating the best approach. She realized that brute speed would not work here. She needed to use her mind to predict the paths and guide Eli safely. She focused, her mind tracing possible routes, eliminating paths that led to dead ends. Slowly, deliberately, she moved forward, leaping, twisting, and adjusting her trajectory as the platform shifted beneath her feet. Eli followed, mirroring her movements, safe and unharmed. The final section of the trial was the most challenging. A series of platforms formed a spiraling path that seemed impossible to navigate. The walls rotated slowly, closing in, and holographic barriers. The arena was alive with anticipation once more. Today, the council had promised a challenge that would test Kayla and Eli together. The twin sons of Xylaria cast long shadows across the crystal floor, reflecting off the floating platforms and shifting walls. The crowd buzzed, eager to see the alien gladiator and her human companion face the council's ultimate trial. Kayla stood at the entrance, her violet skin glowing softly in the morning light. Beside her, a small holographic projection of Eli hovered, calm and confident. She reached out to him, her fingers brushing the light of his projection, and smiled. "Ready, Eli?" "Always," he replied. "Let's show them what we can do." Together, the official appeared, golden markings gleaming in the sunlight. "Kayla," he announced, "today's trial is designed to push your abilities to the limit. You will navigate a series of complex platforms and obstacles. Your success depends on both your intelligence and your ability to coordinate with your companion. You may not harm each other or others." Kayla nodded. She had prepared herself for physical challenges before, but this trial would demand coordination, trust, and ingenuity like never before. The arena shifted suddenly, forming a series of spiraling platforms that rose high into the air. Holographic, walls moved unpredictably, creating a maze-like challenge that required careful timing. Floating obstacles appeared, some spinning rapidly, others moving in unpredictable paths. Kayla took a deep breath, analyzing the layout. "We can do this." "Eli," she whispered, "watch my movements and follow, trust me." Eli's holographic form nodded. "I trust you completely." Together they moved. Kayla leaped to the first platform, calculating her jumps and timing them perfectly. She guided Eli's holographic form in tandem, ensuring he landed safely. The crowd watched in awe as they navigated the shifting platforms, their movements synchronized like a well-rehearsed dance. Midway through the challenge, a new obstacle appeared, a series of floating orbs that shifted positions rapidly. Contact with any orb would reset that section of the trial. Kayla studied their patterns carefully. She realized that brute speed would not work. Timing and strategy were the key. "Follow my lead," she whispered. "We'll move when the orbs align." Step by step, they advanced, moving with precision and grace. Eli mirrored her movements flawlessly, his trust in her allowing him to act confidently. Together, they reached the other side, the crowd erupting in cheers. The final challenge was the most difficult. The platforms formed a spiraling tower rising high above the arena floor. Holographic walls rotated, narrowing the pathways, while moving barriers created unpredictable patterns. Kayla paused at the base of the tower, assessing the safest path. "This is it, Eli," she said. "We need to combine everything we know: timing, strategy, and trust." Eli's holographic form smiled. "Then let's do it." Kayla began to climb the spiral tower, moving carefully from platform to platform. She signaled to Eli at every step, guiding him through the maze of rotating walls and moving barriers. The crowd watched in awe as their coordinated movements turned the complex challenge into a display of intelligence and ingenuity. Halfway up, a sudden shift caused a section of the spiral to rotate faster than expected. Kayla adjusted her movements, timing her jumps perfectly. She signaled to Eli, who followed with equal precision. The crowd gasped, realizing that Kayla was not just completing the trial, she was mastering it, turning the challenge into a showcase of creativity and problem-solving. They reached the top, a final barrier appeared, a wide holographic wall with multiple moving panels. Kayla studied the patterns carefully, noting the timing and sequence. She smiled, realizing that brute force was useless here. This was a puzzle to be solved, not a fight to be won. "Watch carefully, Eli," she whispered. "We can solve this, together." Step by step, they moved through the panels using careful timing and observation. Kayla guided Eli's holographic form, ensuring he passed safely. With a final leap, they reached the platform at the top. A soft glow marked their success, signaling the end of the trial. The arena erupted in cheers. Spectators stood, clapping and shouting in admiration. Kayla and Eli had not only completed the challenge, they had done so without harming anyone, using intelligence, strategy, and teamwork to overcome the council's ultimate test. The official reappeared, his golden markings gleaming. He looked at Kayla with a mixture of surprise and respect. "Kayla," he said, "you have broken the mold. Your approach has redefined what it means to succeed in the arena. Intelligence, trust, and loyalty have triumphed over brute force. The council will take note of your accomplishment." Kayla nodded, breathing deeply. She felt a surge of pride, but also a quiet determination. This trial had proven that strength was not only measured in physical power, it was measured by creativity, collaboration, and courage. Back in her quarters, Kayla and Eli reviewed the day's events. Eli's holographic image flickered softly, smiling warmly. "You were incredible, Kayla," he said. "You faced the ultimate challenge and succeeded without compromising your principles. You've shown everyone the true power of intelligence and trust." Kayla returned the smile, feeling warmth in her chest. "We did it together, Eli. Your trust gave me strength. I guided you safely, but we both played a part. That's what made it possible." Eli's smile widened. "And that's what makes us stronger than any obstacle. Together, we can face anything." Kayla leaned back, exhausted but satisfied. She had faced the council's ultimate challenge and succeeded, not through violence but through intelligence, strategy, and loyalty. She knew that more trials could come, but she felt ready. Her mind, her heart, and her bond with Eli were stronger than any obstacle the arena could present. As the twin suns of Xylaria dipped below the horizon, casting the city in shades of violet and gold, Kayla felt a quiet confidence. She had proven her strength, not through fighting but through intelligence, creativity, and unwavering loyalty. And in the arena, that strength shone brighter than any light. The next morning, the arena was quieter than usual. The people of Xylaria still whispered about Kayla and Eli's triumph. For the first time in years, a gladiator had won not by brute force, but by using intelligence, trust, and creativity. The council had been silent since the trial, and rumors spread that they were debating what to do with Kayla. Kayla sat in her quarters, staring out at the alien sky. The twin suns had just risen, casting soft gold and violet light over the city. She touched the small device that held Eli's holographic presence, feeling comfort as his image flickered beside her. "You're thinking deeply again," Eli said gently. Kayla smiled faintly. "I'm wondering what comes next. Yesterday we showed them a new way. But will they accept it? Or will they try to pull me back into their old ways?" Eli's image leaned closer. "You didn't just complete a challenge. You changed the meaning of the arena. They can't ignore that. The people saw it with their own eyes." Kayla nodded, but her heart remained heavy. She knew traditions were strong, and the council might resist change. Yet deep inside, she also knew the truth. A seed had been planted. Soon, a chime rang at her door. The official, the same one who had announced her trials, entered. His golden markings glowed in the morning light. His expression was calm, but his voice carried weight. "Kayla, the council has reached a decision. You are summoned." Kayla rose, squaring her shoulders. Eli's image hovered by her side. Together, they followed the official through long corridors that opened into the grand chamber of the council. The chamber was vast, with walls made of crystal that reflected shifting colors. The council members, tall and graceful, sat in a semicircle, their robes shimmering like flowing starlight. At the center, the High Elder stood, her silver eyes watching Kayla intently. "Kayla," the High Elder began, "you have done what no gladiator has done before. You completed every trial without violence. You relied on trust, wisdom, and cooperation. The people of Xylaria are speaking of you with admiration. Even the youngest now ask if strength must always mean battle." Kayla bowed her head respectfully. "I did not want to destroy Elder. I wanted to prove that there is another way. My strength is not only in my body, but in my mind, and in the bond I share with Eli." The council murmured among themselves, their voices a soft hum. Finally, the High Elder raised her hand for silence. "You have challenged our traditions. The arena was built to honor physical might, but you have shown us something we had forgotten, that true might can also be found in wisdom, loyalty, and harmony. We cannot ignore this." The chamber grew still. Kayla felt Eli's presence close, his silent encouragement steadying her. The High Elder continued, "The council has decided. You will no longer be bound as a gladiator. Instead, you will serve as a guide, teaching others how to find strength beyond battle. You will help reshape the arena into a place of learning, not just spectacle." Kayla's chest tightened with emotion. Freedom, purpose, a chance to lead others away from endless fighting. She glanced at Eli's hologram, who was smiling proudly. "Thank you," Kayla said softly. "I will honor this trust. I will show others the power of unity and thought, not just combat." The High Elder nodded. "And the human Eli, though he is not here in body, his influence has been great. The council will extend recognition to him as well. Together you have reminded us of something precious.